Advanced technology now on multiple smart devices for total convenience. Welcome to H&B New World Banking.
A very good evening and welcome. This is Newsfirst Primetime News on MTV Sports and Shakti TV. I'm Ramesh Rugal Bandara.
I'm Stephanie Lazarus.
Ever since the change in government, the Commission to investigate allegations of bribery or corruption appears to have become a hive of activity.
What were the complaints? What do the accused have to say? Where are the fingers pointing? We have all this and more coming up. Let's take a look at the headlines first.
Attempts to reduce the presidential term to 5 years.
හයක් බලයෙන් හොසිට පහෙන් ගෙදර යන්න.
Information on the theft of 500 million rupees worth of gold submitted to the Bribery Commission. Police officer attacked with a bottle in Thamutegama. Sidearm stolen. Political student lists for enrollment at popular schools halted. Former Minister Mahindananda Alutgamage's passport impounded. Shakti FM channel head Balendran Khan Deepan among 19 future chasers selected by the Australian Trade Commission. India celebrates 66th Republic Day in New Delhi amid much pageantry.
Well, on to your top story tonight, taking into consideration the information that has come to light in an ongoing corruption investigation. The Commission to investigate allegations of bribery and corruption says that the passport of former Sports Minister Mahindananda Alutgamage has been impounded. The chairman of the Commission, former Supreme Court Justice Jagat Balapatapandi, says that this decision was taken after considering the complaint lodged against Alutgamage.
On our developing story tonight, the wife of former DIG Vasco Navardhana filed a complaint at the Commission to investigate allegations of bribery or corruption.
An incident pertaining to the sale of stocks of gold maintained under the state treasury and valued at 500 million rupees was revealed to the Commission to investigate allegations of bribery or corruption today. The revelation has been made by the wife of the former deputy DIG Vasco Navardhana.
Were involved in this transaction. When it was revealed in the media and the public became aware, senior DIG Andrasena Naika pressured my husband into stopping this. Then the investigation was stopped midway. Later, Hudson Samrasinghe from SLBC approached my husband and asked him to make a statement that was not involved. Then my husband was arrested and remanded on various charges. This was an act of vengeance. I too was told that if I revealed any of this, they would continue to file cases against my husband and keep him in prison. When the government was toppled and this just government came in, they asked the public to submit any information they have. So I received instructions from my husband to come here and lodge a complaint with the Bribery and Corruption Commission because he cannot do it in person.
Senior DIG Andrasena Naika contacted Newsfirst today and sought to make a statement on the accusation against him. The following is the statement made by the senior DIG.
This is a baseless lie. This investigation was conducted by the Colombo North Crimes Investigation Division in May 2013. 9 male suspects and 2 female suspects, 11 suspects in all, were arrested. A retired superintendent of police was among the suspects. All the suspects were remanded and the matter was investigated well. They were produced before the Fort Magistrate and have since been released on bail. All of the suspects were remanded in case D741/13 on the primary charge of attempting to defraud 100 million rupees by offering 100 kilograms of gold. Case 91/505 was filed at the Fort Magistrate and the court case is ongoing. I have not and neither did I have the need to threaten this DIG at any point in time. Any person can say that threats were made, but they need to prove it.
The JVP filed a complaint with the Defence Secretary today.
The complaint was lodged by Dr. Nalinda Jayatis of the JVP's Fact-Finding Committee on Victims of Injustice and Vengeance against the appointment of an individual as an officer of the Sri Lankan Navy.
It is the executive branch that usually makes the appointment of a Navy commander. He should be an individual who had followed the science stream for his advanced level examination, but joined the Navy violating this standard procedure. Furthermore, it is the most skilled cadet officer who has undergone training for a period of 1 year in the Navy that is awarded a scholarship with the Royal Navy College in Dartmouth, England. But the scholarship 3 months after he joined the Navy. He also failed several subjects when he was in Dartmouth, England. He came back to Sri Lanka after having studied there for 2 years. Lieutenant misused his rank within and outside the Navy and also participated in politics. Furthermore, was part of a board of directors of a private media organization which is illegal and does not comply with his position. We also request he be considered as a person who deserted the Navy and that military discipline action should be taken against him if he had not reported to duty since the 9th of January.
The Defence Secretary has informed the complainants that necessary steps will be taken to file a report with regard to this.
Propaganda Secretary of the JVP, Vijay Herath, points out that they are dissatisfied with the manner in which the Commission to investigate allegations of bribery or corruption is currently functioning. He made this statement subsequent to inquiring into the developments in the investigation launched on the complaint which was lodged against the former President and 12 others at the Commission on the 13th of this month.
We have issues pertaining to the credibility of the investigations carried out by the Bribery Commission. We gave our facts and their party also presented their facts. We told them to inform us about the outcome. However, we were not satisfied with the results put forward by their party. That is why we told them to carry out primary investigations into the 12 persons so as to prove their credibility. The Commission should show their credibility. It is only after they do this we will provide more information. We have our doubts if the Commission will obtain information from us and whether it will provide adequate security for the witnesses.
The case pertaining to the abduction of several suspects who were taken into police custody in Wandruba in the run-up to the presidential election was taken up before the Baddegama Chief Magistrate today.
4 suspects, including former Deputy Minister Nishantha Muttuhetagama, were present in court today. I came to court today in response to a complaint lodged over a mistake that I did not commit. I was granted bail at the last hearing. We respect the courts and the law. We will only remain this way for another 3.5 months. In hardship and in good times, we are able to bear anything. But I wish to state with faith that in another 3.5 months, a Mahinda Rajapaksa era will dawn on this country again.
The Judicial Service Association has expressed dismay over the presence of Chief Justice at Temple Trees when the results of the 2015 presidential election were being announced. The Service Association pointed out that on the matter as sensitive as an election, the Chief Justice must maintain impartiality, pride and dignity of the court. The communique comes in the wake of extensive discussions held in line with the investigations being carried out regarding the alleged plotting of a conspiracy at Temple Trees on the night of the elections. Results were released.
A program to distribute monthly allowances to patients with kidney disease commenced today. The event was held under the auspices of President Maithripala Sirisena.
Under the program, kidney disease patients will receive a monthly allowance of 3,000 rupees. An inauguration ceremony was held at the Polonnaruwa Buddhi Mandapaya to symbolically donate money to 1,011 patients suffering from kidney disease in the Polonnaruwa district.
Our basic approach must be to take steps to curb the spread of kidney disease. Thereby, initiatives are in place and I am hopeful that at the next cabinet meeting, the main decisions pertaining to this will be ratified. I clearly state that as a government, we will make decisions on behalf of the people of this country and in doing so, we will not bow down before any international organization.
Meanwhile, President Maithripala Sirisena met a group of public officials from the district at the Thopawewa Mahavidyalaya sports ground in Polonnaruwa.
The pursuit of abolishing the executive presidency and thereby doing away with its unlimited authority and granting further authority to the parliament is currently underway. I engaged in a discussion on this the other day and suggested that my duration in office, which is 6 years, be reduced to 4. But the Constitutional Expert Committee and Political Leadership Council, which convened at the meeting, disagreed with my suggestion of a 4-year term, stating that holding of elections quadrennially is not favourable. But upon my insistence, they agreed to reduce it to 5 years. I will go home in 5 years instead of 6. This is my policy.
In more local news, Cabinet Media spokesperson Minister Dr. Rajitha Senaratne says that the present government will not condone any acts of post-election violence. He stated that the President and the Prime Minister have instructed all security units to immediately punish those persons who commit acts of post-election violence, notwithstanding their social status.
Minister Dr. Rajitha Senaratne made this statement in response to a statement made by the leader of the opposition, Nimal Siripala de Silva, where he said that SLFPers are being victimized. The minister added that several persons have been placed under remand custody after taking into consideration charges filed against them.
Now, Minister Senaratne also pointed out that the remanding of MP Palta Tevara Peruma clearly indicates that the government disapproves of such acts of violence. Here's what's coming up on the news tonight. A special guest at the 66th Indian Republic Day Parade. All the details coming up on the news tonight.
Questions continue to surround the death of a small girl who reportedly fell to her death at a luxury apartment complex in Vellavatta. Newsfirst.lk Mandi visited the scene today, seeking answers to these questions.
The deceased girl's uncle and aunt live on the 11th floor of this luxury apartment complex in Vellavatta. The girl and her family arrived here 4 days ago. This footage shows the girl and her sister going to the garden on the 2nd floor of this apartment complex. The time was around noon. It has also been confirmed that the girl's mother was also present while they were playing. The two girls, saying they were thirsty, travelled alone in the elevator since their mother was feeding the other child. On the 11th floor, the elder sister leaves the elevator, instructing the girl to hold the elevator. It is from this point on that the narrative becomes cloudy. It has been concluded that the elevator may have taken the girl to the top of the floor or another higher floor.
විදුලි සෝපානයෙන් පිටවන දැරියට එළියට යන්න පුළුවන් ආකාර තුනක් අපිට මේ ස්ථානයේදී නිරීක්ෂණය කරන්න පුළුවන්. එකක් දකුණු පසින් පිහිටා තිබෙන හදිසි අවශ්‍යතා සඳහා පිටවීමේ දොරටුව.
We were able to observe 3 exit ways the child could have used when she came out from the lift. One is the emergency exit on my right, the other door is located on the left. There is also a straight path that leads to housing area. When we look at the location from which the child fell from the building, the police suspect the child would have exited from the left door. But it must be highlighted that the girl is 3 feet 4 inches tall. It is also questionable if a girl of such a height is able to open this door by herself.
අඩි 3යි අඟල් 4ක්. අඩි 3යි අඟල් 4ක් උස ඇති මේ කුඩා දැරියට මේ දොරටුව තනිව විවෘත කිරීමේ හැකියාවක් තිබෙනවද කියලා පොඩි ගැටලුවක් මේ අවස්ථාවේදී මතුවෙනවා.
She is 3.5 feet and the balcony is around 4 feet and it has a bar on top, if you would have seen. So it's impossible, the child can't climb on that, and it's really impossible. If she would have climbed on that, the wall is white color, so there might be any footprints or shoe prints or anything. But he is so scared, the steps is nearby. Any child would have just climbed down the steps because the steps will continue to the 2nd floor where the garden is. So still it's a mystery. It's still a mystery. We don't know what happened then after she left the elevator.
The girl who was found wounded in the 2nd floor garden passed away shortly after being admitted to hospital.
මේ දැරිය හමු ස්ථානය. දැනට සැකපල කරන ආකාරයට
This is where the child was found. It is suspected that the child fell from the 11th floor or even higher. If we measure the height from the ground floor to the 11th floor, it is about 220 feet. The police suspect that she had fallen from the 22nd floor.
සැකපල කරන්නේ ඇය 22 වන මහලේ සිට පහළට වැටුණු බවයි.
The final rites were observed yesterday following the post-mortem examination.
According to the post-mortem examination, there was blood on the child's face and her legs and feet were swollen. The report suggests that due to the impact which was caused upon falling from such a height, internal bleeding was caused in the head and internal organs.
The child's death gives rise to 2 points. One is that the parents need to be more vigilant in terms of looking after small children. Secondly, what happened in the 10-minute time frame that the girl was alone.
The Director of Transport at the Presidential Secretariat has been banned from leaving the country. A court order for the same was secured following a request made by the CID. Meanwhile, 2 more vehicles belonging to the Presidential Secretariat have been found at a filling station in Nabala.
A car and a pickup truck belonging to the Presidential Secretariat were discovered at this filling station. Investigations are underway regarding the discovery made following a tip-off to the Mirihana police. The CID had recorded statements from the Director of Transportation at the Presidential Secretariat regarding the missing vehicle over the past several days. The CID requested court today to prevent the Transport Director from travelling abroad as it would hamper ongoing investigations into the remaining missing vehicles. Colombo Fort Magistrate Thilinagama issued the order acquiescing the CID's request and also issued a written order to the Controller General of Immigration and Emigration. The police have initiated an operation in search of the suspect who attacked a police officer with a bottle at a restaurant in Tambuttegama. The police say that they have already arrested one suspect in connection with the incident.
The police say that an argument arose when 2 police officers who were on patrol had interrogated the group of people at the restaurant in Tambuttegama. One of the suspects had attacked one of the police officers with a bottle and had taken away his firearm. The police commenced a search operation today following a tip that the suspects were hiding in a nearby jungle area. The police media spokesperson office say that 2 of the suspects had fled the area.
The Ministry of Education has decided to immediately halt the enrollment of children from political lists to schools. At a media briefing convened today, Minister Akhil Viraj Karyavasam also announced that along with this decision, several activities that took place in the recent past would also be halted.
I believe that most accusations against the Education Ministry in the recent past were pertaining to the enrollment of children to grade 1. Large numbers of children have been enrolled to several key schools in Colombo and also to the Carlton's preschool. All of this will stop from now. The Chief Minister's quota cannot be used either.
It was also stated that the arbitrary collection of money by school authorities would be halted immediately.
We have arrived at a decision and the circular has been prepared. We will make any corrections that are needed and tomorrow we will circulate it among all school principals outlining the procedure for collecting funds. We have decided to immediately halt all arbitrary fund collections at national schools. The principals of all national schools have been called to the Ministry tomorrow. We accept that funds are needed for the maintenance of some schools, but the approval of the Ministry of Education must be secured. A background had been created where students could go on to do their A-levels without passing ordinary level mathematics. We have arrived at a policy decision regarding this. Mathematics is a necessity. They must at least pass mathematics later on if they wish to join the art stream, for example. So leniency in these examinations and other arbitrary decisions have been rescinded as a matter of policy.
International schools are currently registered under the Companies Act as businesses. A system is to be introduced where a regulatory committee will be appointed under the Ministry of Education and an annual license will be provided to these schools. The Education Minister also noted that inquiries would be made into discrepancies that are alleged to have taken place in the tender procedure for the Mahindodaya laboratories. Minister of Housing and Samruddhi Sajith Premadasa participated in a series of events organised to felicitate him that were held in Lunugamvera today.
I state at this instance that within the next 100 days, you will all receive concessions that will be felt. All the concessions, privileges and benefits that should have been given to you and were being enjoyed by the bigwigs will be given to you. All the money will be distributed among the common man.
Now, today marks Australia Day, the official national day of Australia. It marks the anniversary of the 1788 arrival of the first fleet of British ships at Port Jackson, New South Wales.
In present-day Australia, celebrations reflect the diverse society and landscape of the nation and are marked by community and family events, reflections on Australian history, official community awards and citizenship ceremonies welcoming new immigrants into the Australian community. The holiday is marked by the presentation of the Australian of the Year Awards on Australia Day Eve, announcement of the Australia Day Honours List and addresses from the Governor-General and Prime Minister. Australia Day has become the biggest annual civic event in Australia. Meanwhile, parallel to Australia Day, the website Australia Unlimited, which operates under the Australian Trade Commission and seeks to promote Australia's image as an intellectual hub, has compiled a list of 19 future chasers, gifted individuals who are playing key roles around the world. They hail from different fields including design, media and activism. Among the 4 citizens on the Future Chasers list is Balendran Kandeepan, channel head of Shakti FM. Dubbed the Media Man, from among the future chasers, Kandeepan is the host of Mahalachadipati, the Tamil language version of the hit reality TV show Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. He is also a guest lecturer at Victoria University and a member of the University Course Advisory Board. He was also the winner of the 2014 Australian Alumni Excellence Merit Award for Business Administration, awarded by Austrade.
And on Newsfirst tonight, International Customs Day falls today. The theme of the International Customs Day 2015 is coordinated border management and exclusive approach for connecting stakeholders.
An event was held in Colombo this morning which saw the participation of several present and past Director Generals of Sri Lanka Customs. Representatives of the Ceylon Chamber of Commerce, the Department of Inland Revenue and other stakeholders were present at the event. Annually held on the 26th of January, International Customs Day recognizes the role of custom officials and agencies in maintaining border security. Meanwhile, the Deputy Director of the Biodiversity, Cultural and National Heritage Unit at the Customs, Samantha Gunasekara, and the Assistant Superintendent of Customs, Udesh Jayawardena, were presented awards at the event.
A special event was held in Colombo today to mark the 66th Indian Republic Day. The event was held under the auspices of the Indian High Commissioner to Sri Lanka.
The event was held at the premises of the Indian High Commission in Colombo. The event comprised of colourful events symbolising the rich cultural aspects of both nations.
Though India and Sri Lanka share a very strong bond, a very strong history nurtured by centuries, millennia of civilizational cultural contacts, we need to build further to ensure that both our peoples and our countries are further integrated and have far greater links than they already do. There have been very high-level contacts throughout the years of our independence, after our independence, but these political contacts have also resulted in greater people-to-people contacts and stronger economic linkages. On the bilateral trade and investment front, India and Sri Lanka are particularly close. I'm happy that in the year 2014 we witnessed an upsurge in our bilateral trade, and I think these contacts, these enhanced contacts that takes into account each other's concerns would only benefit the people of both the countries.
India celebrated its 66th Republic Day, although rain threatened to dampen the excitement around US President Barack Obama's landmark visit to India amid a vibrant display of its rich heritage and military prowess today. Republic Day marks the adoption of India's constitution in 1950, 3 years after independence from Britain.
Thousands of troops prepared today for a dazzling military parade where Obama was the chief guest. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi paid tribute to soldiers who sacrificed their lives for the nation at the eternal flame Amar Jawan Jyoti at the iconic monument Indian Gate before heading towards the parade venue Rajpath.
Sardi, barish or kohr.
Great enthusiasm.
Crowds getting understandably excited and ecstatic.
A cheer of welcome in the air.
For the arrival of the motorcade of the President of the United States of America.
Obama arrives at Rajpath, being greeted very warmly by Prime Minister Narendra Modi.
Barack Obama, the President of the United States of America.
He received President Pranab Mukherjee, who unfurled the national flag, followed by the customary 21-gun salute.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi.
Obama, who arrived with First Lady Michelle Obama, saw the Republic Day celebrations in the capital, where tanks, troops and floats showcasing India's cultural diversity passed along Rajpath, an elegant lawn-bordered boulevard dating from the British colonial era that connects the presidential palace to India Gate. India won independence from British rule on the 15th of August 1947, but it was not until January 26, 1950 that the nation declared itself a sovereign republic state with the adoption of its constitution. On that day, Rajendra Prasad, India's first president, unfurled the national flag, and thereafter, the 26th of January became a national holiday, Republic Day. The first US president to attend the annual show of military might that was long associated with the anti-Americanism of the Cold War. Obama spent the first day of his visit bonding with Modi and sealing a clutch of deals. The two leaders announced plans to unlock billions of dollars in nuclear trade and to deepen defense ties, steps they hope will establish an enduring strategic partnership.
Before we go in for sports, time now for Action TV.
This is a workstation abandoned 10 years ago, which was the main source of income for around 5 families. In the year 2004, 485 such workstations were actively functioning in the vicinity of the Udunura Pradeshya Sabha. Production of brassware in these workstations is native to Sri Lanka. The brass industry, which boasts a long history, depends mainly on scrap metal, which is distributed at national level as its main raw material. In the year 1999, a kilogram of scrap metal was sold at a local market price of 350 rupees. However, in the same year, following Sri Lanka's admittance to the SAFTA trade agreement, not only did the price of scrap metal increase, but a growing scarcity of scrap metal also came into being.
In a month, around 5,000 tons of scrap metal is been illegally sent to Colombo. We can't even obtain a ton of scrap metal for a month. There is no availability of brass. These have been packed and exported to India.
A program to distribute scrap metal discarded from state industries was introduced by the Industrial Development Board based on a quota. Thereby, a service centre affiliated with the Industrial Development Board was established to facilitate the distribution. However, What is being distributed through these centres is sand used in sand mould casting, which helps in the process of metal casting by using the sand as the mould.
This has been politicised. This is the cause of the downfall of the brass industry. The reason is when an individual purchases scrap metal, it is then sold again to another person and they are benefited on a personal level. And brass factory workers are left destitute. There must be a proper methodology adopted by those responsible for distributing brass in the industry.
The era of the civil war in the country could be identified as one in which a large stock of scrap metal was obtained, notably through metal left behind at the end of heavy shelling.
What we learned is that a large stock of artillery shells were left behind at the end of the civil war, and this was stored away in state-owned storages, and there was no proper method of distribution implemented, and then we came to know that these were later exported under the directive of political representatives at the time.
As of today, the number of brass workshops has dwindled to 37, and craftsmen working at them are hired seasonally. Should an immediate attention be paid to the scarcity of raw material supply to these workshops before thousands end up with no livelihood? Chairman of the Industrial Development Board, this is over to you.
Well, that's a wrap of Primetime News at 9. It was an absolute pleasure having you with us. I'm Stephanie Lazarus.
And I'm Ramesh Rukal Bandara. Good night.